wheel rotations. So this is the 4x80, and you can see the front wheel and the second wheel have quite a bit of chamfer on the inner side. Those who take anatomy, remind me what that side of the foot is called versus that side. I forget, but you can see, at least for me, these front two wheels get a pretty excessive wear and the rear wheels don't. What do I mean by that? Let's say you skate 10 sessions, the front two wheels for me in a 4x80 setup get chiseled faster than the rear. So that's the left side. Right side is the same story. You can see that front wheel has a lot, and the second wheel is pretty worn as well. Easy way to know if it's really gone is the center line of the frame. If it's that chisel is past it or even at it, that's probably a good time to change it. You could do it earlier, but this is a good time to do it before you get really uncomfortable skating sessions and likewise excessive wear. So to change these, I can't find my other skate tools, so I'm just using these standard keys. And what I typically do just for a wheel rotation is take them all out, set them in order like so, and these bolts are important. I'm on an inclined surface, so bear with me. Now the bolts, I don't really care if they're in the same order or not, meaning like if it's the left bolt on the first wheel, then it doesn't have to stay in that position or merge with the same wheel. I don't know too many people that do that, but some people do. To me, I just make sure that they're not getting like excessively worn, which may be an indicator of something else. So, and it's kind of deceiving just looking at this perception wise because of the chisels. This rear wheel looks tiny, this looks in the middle, that one looks really large, and that one looks kind of small. So ideally what I would do is measure how large the diameter is, and that will tell me which wheel is the largest, and I'll focus those on getting the front versus the small ones at the back. Now some people will put the smaller wheels at the front. The forefoot is at a lower elevation than the rear. That can be really good if you're going really fast, doing a lot of tricks and stuff. If you're focused on longevity of the wheels, I would put the larger wheels up front. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much. If you're rotating them on a consistent basis, then you won't have an issue as far as, you know. I've seen people rotate wheels, and all they do is take the wheels on this side and put it like on the right skate, put it on the left skate, but they've essentially taken a wheel where the chisel was, say, in towards the center line of the body and just flipped it, so now it's on the left foot. So you still have a large chisel, so technically you rotated it, but not really, and you're not getting any of the benefits of rotating the wheel. So what do I do now? I typically set it up so that the rear two wheels kind of go to the back, and then the rears go to the front. That's typically what I do. I do make adjustments. If I see like some wheels are getting more wear than others, I may flip it. So one thing I did note before I took these off, these rear two wheels are kind of seized, and you can kind of see this one's not freely moving. Same with this one. This one's not horrible. This one has like a little gunk, but I would still skate on this. This one though doesn't look good. It's got something going on there. I'm gonna just separate the wheel from the bearings, see what's going on. So there's a spacer, but let's just take a look. So the inside of the wheel is fine. There's usually nothing wrong with these. Occasionally the hub may crack. I find that more so with the 110s. The 80s are so small that it's like for a structure like this, it's so rigid that it rarely cracks. So this is the outside of the wheel. There's some gunk. That's pretty normal. Let's see. Now, this isn't the best treatment for bearings. Ideally, you're at home in a nice clean environment, relatively clean environment. You're using gloves. You're setting them on trays and stuff. And I can see this is the bearing with issue. It's no good. It probably just needs to be cleaned. So I'll probably grab a bearing from my other skate real quick. But you can see that, you know, this bearing isn't rolling smoothly. I can't skate on this. The other bearing is fine. Biggest things you'll see, if they get saturated with water and then they get corroded. A lot of these use like a chromoly steel, and usually the amount isn't a lot regarding corrosion resistant. So they'll get a rust layer or some other iron oxide, and it just locks it up. So that might be what's happening here. I'd have to take it apart, which I don't recommend doing in a field environment, just because if the ball bearings fall out or the races and it goes all over the place, you may very well have a bearing you can't put back together. Okay, I got the other bearings, so this is pretty easy to do. Need a spacer. These are like the basic spacers. They're just cylinders. Downside to these is that they kind of move around a bit, so they can be a little annoying to set in place, but they're otherwise gonna do just fine. So the other spacers really just make it convenient when you're needing to change a lot of wheels at once. And let's see, forgot the other spacer, so I just stick that in, and then the other bearing. There we go. And now we're going to set these all back. I put the front wheels in the back wheels in the front. So I'm gonna take this wheel, I'm gonna put it in the middle. Oh, sorry, the third point, this one in the back. Allows that wear on this wheel to be really slow so that you get a nice rounded edge. So this wheel will go eventually on the back before it goes back up to the front section. So those go there, and then these wheels, I kind of look at them. This back wheel is more rounded than the front, and thickness wise, again, just judging by my eye, it looks like the right wheel is a little bit larger, but not much. So I'll probably put that one up front. This being the left skate, I find this one doesn't wear quite as fast as the right. There's sometimes a little grit that gets in there, sometimes it works its way out, but ideally you put it in and you clean off those axle bolts. Now we'll do the right skate, same thing. So look at this one I'll probably put in the back. And another benefit too, I find usually the front wheel gets worn really fast, so that smaller wheel starting here in the third position, I guess actually I should put it like this. You don't have like a tiny wheel at the back. And let me see. These are kind of tied. I'll just put what I don't like how this one's actually chiseled, so I'm gonna put this at the second point. Put this one up front. This one's nice and rounded. The rounder wheels are usually smoother. Downside is they just put a little bit more rubber on the ground, so they have more friction. So that's why you see a lot of like speed skates, they go for the bullet profile, whereas more urban skates go for the round profile. What does that actually mean in real life? For the most part, not much. All wheels are going to get chiseled more or less in the same pattern. And so eventually bullet's going to look like a chisel, a round is going to look like a chisel. What's more important is not the wheel you buy, how you rotate them, how frequently, and the manner you do it. is more important. So you can see now on the inner side of the boot, the peaks of the wheel are now slightly off of the middle, and hopefully the same thing on this skate. And so now when I skate on it, it'll wear towards the middle, and I'll have a more consistent ride, versus if you have it the other way, your ankles will kind of roll in, which is uncomfortable. So yeah, so you can see that wheel's kind of chisel a lot. Same with that one's actually not too bad, but yeah, they make a lot of noise because there's a bit of grit in there, but whatever. That's how I do a basic wheel rotation. I think I'll need to do a wheel bearing clean out probably soon on these, but I hate doing that because it takes forever, at least the way I do it. So we'll get there. Anyway, hopefully that helped or was interesting.